Appreciate it. I'll let you go now. Bring back in my guest for this hour, trial attorney and appellate attorney Matthew Barhoma. All right, Matthew, you heard Joy there. She's talking a lot about what this defense is trying to do. They're bringing up all these issues about the investigation or the lack thereof, some of the issues with the investigation, what the wife did at the scene. All these things, to me, seem collateral to the main issue. Do you see some reason why these are important? This isn't a whodunit. This isn't as well, if they investigated further, they might have come up with someone else committing the crime. This is really about Edgecombe's state of mind. What do you make of all this hullabaloo by the defense?
You know, this is a defense team that's actually pretty detailed, and they're going through the details and they're painting out, the parameter, the picture, step by step. And ultimately, they are, I believe, selectively, using witnesses, and it's exactly their right to do. It's what their job is to do, to be able to put this together in a fashion that makes a lot of sense and that is credible for the jury. And not only that, something you also have to remember about this defense team is that they have Edgecombe and they still have to put him on. So before he comes on, they need to be able to lay foundation for a ton of information that surround the scene and that explain it so that they could also be able to have a well flow, direct with him.
That's an excellent point, because an interesting thing that might have flown under the radar today during Stephanie Trotter's testimony, she's talking about a conversation. She arrives on the scene, she's conversing with Evangelina, who asked her to call 911, so she calls 911. But during that conversation, she says that Evangelina used a lot of really awful expletives, the F-bomb, for instance. Edgecombe claims he said, using a racial epithet against him and some pretty harsh language, she said he never said any of that stuff. But when you hear that she used those words, it makes it more believable when Edgecombe takes the stand and says that, in fact, the victim did.
Yeah. This case, it really sucks because someone lost their life. And that is the worst thing. Not only that, it's due to road rage. But ultimately what I see and what I'm perceiving is that both sides are grappling with the facts and they're trying to, present them in a fashion that is most favorable to them. And I believe that, there's some testimony that is scripted, that is intentionally put the way that it's supposed to be, that is coached. And ultimately, there was a life that was lost. And what we really have to remember is that there is also multiple incidents. There's one around the corner, there's one another around the other side of the corner. And how much of it is really relevant, how much of it should we really pay attention to, is the job of each side of the bench here. It's the job of each attorney here to be able to focus the jury on exactly the piece of information that makes the most amount of sense. To me, it's right when the shot went off, right? Was there a reasonable, use of force, or is that moment very important? A lot of things around it could shed light on that, but ultimately, that's the most important moment.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, even the punch in the face, people don't like it. It's not the right thing to do. It's certainly a crime in and of itself. But he moves away, and he got Evangelina to admit on the stand that he was no longer a threat to them. So that incident is over. Anything that happens after that becomes a whole new situation, and he's certainly able to use self-defense. The question is, was it actually self-defense? So we'll have to wait and see. All right, Matthew, stand by. We're going to take a break. When we come back,